welcome to WGTV Today, Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Beth. This is Monday, June the 3rd.
Can you believe that?
The month of June is here.
I know, it's amazing. You know, there's only one Monday this week, and there's only one June 3rd.
Imagine that one.
I don't know what happened here.
You are so smart.
Hey, I once read a calendar.
Did you?
I'm telling you. All right, having birthdays on June 3rd, but first of all, who's on today's program?
On today's show, let's see. We have Miss Goldsboro.
Oh, what?
Beth Stovall. Yes, we have Miss Goldsboro,
Really?
Beth Stovall. She's here talking about her journey towards the title of Miss North Carolina.
Wow.
She's been real involved in our community, and she's here to tell us about that. And then we also have John Bell, Commissioner, Wayne County Commissioner John
Yes.
Bell, and his grandson, Nicholas Cole.
Nicholas Cole.
That's right.
Whoa.
If you haven't heard him play the piano, you need to stay tuned and hear more about it.
And I'll tell you what, even if he didn't play the piano, you'd really like this guy. He's just a great human being. Of course, John's pretty nice too.
Yep,
you know?
think so. They've done something right.
They have, yes, they've done something right. All right, birthdays for today, June 3rd. Cy Robertson. Now, I didn't know who Cy Robertson was.
Dynasty.
That's it.
Everybody knows Cy.
Well, I sleep a lot. Anyway, he's 64 years today. Cy Robertson of Duck Dynasty having a birthday. Rafael Nadal, the tennis champion, he defeated Roger Federer in an epic Wimbledon championship back in '08. Anyway, Rafael Nadal is only 26 years today. Singer, composer, and the late Curtis Mayfield having a birthday. He would have had a birthday today, but passed away in '99. Anderson Cooper, everybody loves Anderson.
Everybody loves Anderson.
He's 45 years today. Can you believe that? And
he does so many adventurous type interviews
and
documentaries and that type thing. He loves that.
He does, and that's his passion.
I know.
He is, of course, everybody knows his mother, Gloria Vanderbilt, and he came from a lot of money on that side of the family, but he insists that he's a Cooper. He doesn't go for the glitz and the glamour and all that stuff. He's truly a journalist and a very smart guy, and is a little funny in some ways as far as what he eats and the way he dresses and the way he lives. But he's just a unique individual, and you can't help but like Anderson Cooper.
He recently did a documentary with sharks, and
sharks.
Did you see? You didn't see it?
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
no.
It was scary.
Well,
but he enjoyed it.
That's Anderson Cooper.
Yep.
Birthday today for Susie Quattro.
Who's Susie Quattro?
She was a singer. She wore a lot of leather.
Okay.
All right. And Stumbling In, I believe, was her big hit back some years ago. Chuck Barris having a birthday today, the game show host and creator of, he created not only the Gong Show, he hosted the Gong Show, but he created the dating game.
Really? Okay. I think I remember hearing about that years ago.
He was a producer, but what a lot of people don't know about Chuck Barris is he actually wrote a book, and he claimed to be a part of the CIA.
Oh, really?
He claimed to be, he was a CIA agent. Now, if you've seen the Gong Show, and you know who Chuck Barris is, you cannot possibly imagine that.
Him being a part of that.
Him being a part of the CIA. But anyway, that's what he says, so we'll just take it at face value there. Also having a birthday today, the 3rd of June. You believe it's June already? The 6th month.
You're right.
And there's only one time this year there'll be a 6th month.
Go figure.
Other people having birthdays, but I have no idea who they are right now.
Well, happy birthday. If it's your special day, June 3rd.
That's right.
All day long.
Only one time this week.
That's right.
That's right. All right, May 31st was last weekend.
Yes, it was.
Just trying to catch you up here. What's going on? Okay. Okay.
Do you have a trivia question
for us,
question.
Yes, I do have a trivia question
for
us today. The topic, the category is living authors.
Okay.
If they're not living,
they're not a part of this.
That's right. This is living authors. Which living author occasionally published at one time novels under the name Richard Bachman? Very famous.
Very famous.
Very famous. Richard Bachman, B-A-C-H-M-A-N.
They don't know that. Nobody knows that.
Really? Well,
we'll have to wait and see.
We'll just have to wait and see.
That's right. That's right. Hold on
Okay.
tight. You never know. Maybe somebody you know.
Hold on.
You're holding on tight.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You hold on tight. Okay. The year was 1800.
Yes, it was.
John Adams moved to Washington, D.C. He was the very first president to live in what was to become known as the White House, the capital of the U.S. It didn't become known as the White House until many years later, after the British burned it in the War of 1812, and it was all burnt and everything, and so they painted it and it said it's white, and they said, oh, we'll just call it the White House.
Okay.
Anyway, Adams moved in this day. The year was 1800. In 1871, the Okabok Brothers Bank in Corydon, Iowa, was robbed of about $6,000 cash by a 24-year-old by the name of Jesse James and his gang of outlaws. Just thought you'd want to know that. That happened on this day in 1871. And other things happened as well.
Yes, they did. Many things happened. All right, let's see.
Oh, is it time to go to that?
No, it's not time to go to our interviews yet.
It's not?
No, but we've got other things we need to talk about.
What are we going to talk about?
Let's see.
Well, see, somebody is sitting back in the chair, and I thought that was our cue. See?
Oh, okay, okay.
Not this
No,
time.
we want to talk about some summer camps. Here it is, almost time for school to be out. Some schools are already out, actually. And
Yeah.
a few more are going to be out, I believe, this week.
Well, it is June 3rd.
That's
after all.
right, that's right. So
The
if
only
you're
time.
looking for something for your young one to do this summer, there are many different opportunities. The Family Y has a long list of different types of camps they're offering.
Why?
Why?
No, I mean Family Y.
The Family Y.
Why?
Also, Goldsboro Parks and Recs. This is their little brochure they have, and they have different types of one-week camps all summer long.
Oh.
Let's see, from, oh my gosh, day camps, half-day camps, special population camps. They'll be taking fishing trips is what that says. They'll be taking fishing trips and excursions, swimming, sports, all different types of things going on. If you're interested in finding out more about Goldsboro Parks and Recreation Summer Camp, you can go to their website, goldsboroparksandrecs.com. You can also walk in Herman Park Center. They have this little brochure there waiting for you. And actually on the very back is the application to go ahead and fill out.
Wow,
They made it
about
mighty
that.
nifty.
Wow.
And easy for you to take and fill out. So
All right.
just a couple suggestions. Family Y, Boys and Girls Club, Goldsboro Parks and Recs.
Wow.
Opportunities for your youth right
you
there.
go. Opportunities abound.
There you go.
Abound. There you go. Today, June 3rd.
Uh-huh.
The only June 3rd this month. Today is the anniversary of The Mighty Casey Struck Out, the poem, and I don't have details on that right now, but I will later on. But Mighty Casey Struck Out, the anniversary some years ago. This is also Labor Day in the Bahamas.
Well, no, that would be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice if we were in the Bahamas enjoying Labor Day.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
All right, let's see who's up next. Miss Goldsboro, Beth Stovall,
Oh, boy.
and John Bell, and Nicholas Cole. So stay tuned. Great, great stories. Welcome back to Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm delighted to have with me today Miss Beth Stovall. She's your Miss Goldsboro 2013. Welcome to the show, Beth.
Thank you for having me.
We've been hoping you would come on, and so we're so glad to have you on today and want to talk about your journey as Miss Goldsboro and your journey towards being a contestant in Miss North Carolina coming up soon.
Yes, I'm very excited. And when I was preparing for Miss Goldsboro, there were a lot of things that went into it. It's not just about, getting on stage and looking gorgeous. You have to prepare for an interview, you have to become fit so that you look great in your swimsuit, and you have to be talented, and you have to rehearse that over and over and over again until it's perfection. And so there was a lot that went into it, and I just did my best, and it was very exciting to win that night.
I'm sure I can't imagine how it felt that night to hear them call out the 2013 Miss Goldsboro Beth Stovall.
Yes.
What did you feel at that moment?
Honestly, it was just a rush of excitement, and then immediately after, I wanted to jump headfirst into preparations for Miss North Carolina, and I wanted to reach out to my community and really meet as many people as I could so that I can kind of get my name out there and I can get into the community and meet these people and form really good relationships.
Well, tell us, before we go back to talk about your journey towards Miss North Carolina, tell me some of the things that you have done and what you've learned about Goldsboro and Wayne County.
Well, I've reached out to the kids. I visited a lot of schools and talked to them about who I am and my platform, which is called Inspiration Art, Inspiring Children's Minds for a Creative Future. And I have reached out to them and kind of learned a little bit about what it is that got them involved in the arts in their school systems. And I've invited them to participate in my talent show, my Miss Goldsboro's Talent Search.
Oh, okay.
And
tell us when that talent search is.
well, it's Friday, May 31st.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's already happened. That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Yes, I'm very, very happy with how everything went, and it's just really exciting to see these kids do what they love and be so happy about it. And I was excited to award 4 overall winners, and I'm really hoping that they continue and that they follow these paths and become, you know, talented musicians and instrumentalists and
In
singers.
their own right, huh?
Yes, everything.
So this talent search that you held it at the Arts Council of Wayne County.
Yes.
And you had all these different young children that had submitted videos of themselves doing whatever their art is or whatever their talent is. They submitted those to you.
Yes,
You
they did.
narrowed it down. And you had 8.
Yep.
Now tell
8.
me what age group they were.
And it was elementary through middle school age children. And basically they just recorded themselves singing, or they would send in pictures of their artwork, or they would type up their poetry or stories and they would send them in to me. And I narrowed it down to 8, you know, the best.
Right,
Of the
exactly,
ones
the highest
that
caliber.
Exactly. And then for the show, I narrowed it down to the 4 overall winners.
Oh wow! So
Yes.
all 4 were in the talent show, talent search,
Right.
And then they all received trophies and that type thing, and it gave them
Little goodie
another,
bags and- yeah.
and it gave them another opportunity to actually showcase
Yes.
what
and to
their art is
perform.
and to perform, which is huge in that world, especially
Yes.
for a youth, I would think.
Yep. It's a
that's
good way to
great.
kind of branch out for them.
So you've been in a lot of the schools right here in our community,
Yes.
talked to almost 1,000 young children.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes, it is. And every group of kids is different. You really have to kind of change up your game whenever you get in front of each different group, because you never know what to expect. You never know what questions they're going to ask,
Oh,
and
I'm
it's
sure.
always very entertaining.
I'm sure. Well, go back to tell me a little more about, now you're preparing for Miss North Carolina, which
Yes.
is June 22nd is the final night, but you actually move in
June 14th.
that's right, at Peace
Yes.
College in Raleigh. You'll move in on June 14th and spend an entire week and a half up there
Yes.
with the other 32 contestants,
Yes.
all vying for, every one of you are vying for that title of Miss North Carolina.
Yep, and we're all equally, I think, ready for the job. And that's what makes it kind of scary, but also kind of exciting, because
Right.
you know that whoever wins, I'll be happy for them. You know, even
Right.
if I'm not crowned, I'm still going to pull for that girl 100% whenever she's on that Miss America stage.
Well, you know, and that says a lot about your character as well, because I don't know if everybody can say that. Everybody wants that title, but you're right, only one girl can win it.
Yep.
Well, tell me, what do you do? What does a girl do in preparation to be the best she can be towards her prep of Miss North Carolina?
It's interesting that you said that, the best that she can be. The number one thing I've found is that you focus on being the best that you can be. Don't compare yourself to any of the other girls, because you're not them.
Right.
Your best is not going to be the same as their best. So you need to find your unique qualities, and you need to find the things that make you special and focus on those things to help, you know, better yourself.
Exactly.
Along with interview prep and working
Tell me about
out.
this interview prep that you've had.
Oh, my goodness.
The interview at Miss North Carolina is a 10-minute, very intense, almost like a press conference.
Yes.
You have judges that are on the state level that are very trained. They know what they're doing. They do this all the time across the United States. And they're sitting there asking you questions that can range from
Current
events, which you have to be very familiar with. It can be just finding out more about your platform, Inspiration Art. It can be something as, how do you feel about any type of topic that's in the news right now, whether it is gay rights, whether it is, oh gosh, the list goes on and on, whether it's
Yes.
texting and driving, how you feel about that, about bullying. It could be any topic.
Yep.
There's nothing that can't be touched. So my gosh, how do you prepare for that?
Well, you just read up the newspapers. I've downloaded lots of apps on my phone that kind of give me like push notifications on the current events that are going on in the world.
Oh, yes.
And then you just kind of have to be as familiar as you can with those things so that you can form an opinion on them, so that you can talk about them easier. Because there's a difference between knowing what's going on and having an opinion on what's going on.
That's right.
You have to be very opinionated, and you have to be able to speak about it in a very knowledgeable way.
True, that's true.
Yes.
So, you've got a few more weeks before you move in at Miss North Carolina. You've worked hard on your interview.
Yes.
Now, tell me about the talent. What will you be doing, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, operatic vocal. I'll be singing Quando Menvo, which is an Italian aria from the opera La Bohème by Puccini. And basically, I have been rehearsing night and day, weeks on weeks on weeks, and it has been a really interesting experience because, you know, with the voice, it's never the same.
Right.
Each time you go to practice, it's always something different. So I kind of have to mold myself and work on staging in a different way every time that I do it.
Oh, yes, I would
But
think so.
I'm really excited because that's my passion and that's what I love doing, and I'm really looking forward to the night that I get to perform.
On that great big stage at Raleigh Memorial Auditorium, and it
Yes.
is a huge stage. And we've talked about that so many times that, you know, when a person performs a talent, whatever it may be, every stage and every venue is so different.
Yep.
You know, and you have to really adjust to that.
Yes, you do.
And that's a big one, and you're ready for it.
Yes, I am. And the audience is always different too.
Oh, yes. The way they
Especially when you're
respond.
singing, you know, in a different language, because people don't understand typically. You know, you may have one or two people in the audience who know what you're saying.
Right.
But that is when you really have to become that character, and you have to use lots of movement and big dynamic
Actions,
expressions. Yes.
Well, and so you feel like you're singing in, what is it, Italian?
Yes.
So you're singing in Italian, a song nobody knows what you're saying, or very few in the audience.
Yes.
So using those movements and those expressions to tell the story, that keeps people interested, I guess.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
So you've worked on your talent, you've worked on your interview, you've worked on your fitness and being prepared to be the best that you can be.
Yes.
So tell us about that. How does it feel to have to eat very, very healthy? I mean, more healthy than most individuals or most of us ever think about. Ever.
Honestly, it's been very hard. I'm not going to kid around with you. I definitely miss those cookies and the Nutella and the peanut butter. But, you know, as I watch myself get, you know, more fit and more fit, it's a motivator.
Oh,
It
I think it would
definitely
be so
helps me
gratifying.
keep going. Yes. And I've always been a little bit of a health nut. So I think that it's very good that I'm eating this healthy, because I think that if I didn't have such a big motivator, I probably wouldn't.
Right.
You know, I know that I'm going to be on stage in front of so many people, and they're going to be comparing me to these other girls, and I
Right.
need to look
The
amazing.
best you can do. That's
Exactly.
right. That's right.
Exactly.
So you know, I hear people say, "Oh my goodness, those girls don't eat." Every time I see you, you're eating.
yes.
You know, but you're eating healthy things.
Yes.
I know we've done so many things together, and you're like, "I gotta eat. Time to eat."
Yes.
Wow. but that is because you're eating very healthy things, which keep your metabolism going nonstop.
Yes, it does. I eat 5 times a day.
I know, that's crazy. But it works.
Yes, it does.
It works.
It's all about moderation. It really
is.
is. Moderation is the key, and not just with eating, in every aspect
In
of
everything
life.
we do. You're exactly right. What does motivate you, Beth? What motivates you to want to do and be your very best?
Honestly, it's the children. I mean, I know that kind of sounds cliche, but I've reached out to so many as Miss Goldsboro, and I really love seeing their faces light up when they hear about inspiration art, or when they see, even this morning when I was in the gym, there was a little girl who was watching me work out, and I was being pushed, you know, very hard, and I wanted to give up, but because she was watching me, I did it.
Oh, wow.
I didn't want her to see me give up. I wanted her to know that I can do it, and I kind of wanted her to remember that. So really, that's what keeps me going.
Well, so when you're up at Miss North Carolina, the week you move in, and you know you're going to be there a week and a half, every day rehearsal, getting ready for that big week off, because you all have preliminary nights.
Yep.
You'll have 4 preliminary nights and then the final night. So tell me, when you're up there, what are you taking with you to have? You're staying at peace. What will you have in that dorm room to be your motivator, to look at every single day, to help you remember, stay focused, Beth, stay focused, Beth?
For me, it's my journals, because I like to write a lot, and I like to go back and read the things that I've written in the past, especially when I had just done something amazing. Like right after I'd visited a school, I would write about it, just so that I can know and so that I can look back and see how amazing that experience, all of the experiences were,
Right.
and that I can kind of reflect on that and remember that, and it really makes me remember and keep going.
That's great. Well, whenever you have done so many things right here in our local community, you've been to so many different events, my goodness, from the Pickle Festival to the Daffodil Festival, and the list goes on and on. You've gone to the first night over at the Arts Council. You've done so many things here in our community, and you've really just dove right in and been very active.
Yes.
Well, after Miss North Carolina, so the end of June,
Yep.
if, just in case somebody else gets that crown, what will you do if you come back to Goldsboro? What will you like to continue to do until you have to give that title up in November?
I want to continue to do it all, definitely. I mean, I've had so much fun reaching out to the community and learning more about my community that I've lived in my entire life. But as Miss Goldsboro, I've had the opportunity to learn more and really connect with more people and form those relationships that I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to have formed if I weren't Miss Goldsboro. And that's really special to me. So I want to take every opportunity that I can while I still have it to make these connections and stay in touch with all of these wonderful people.
Well, I'm sure that will happen. As a person who has gained all this experience and through all of these things that you've done, take yourself out of the pageant world for a minute, out of competition mode.
Okay.
So so now you've finished all of this. How can you take all of these things you've learned, all these experiences, all this knowledge, all this wealth that you've got here, how can you take that into your everyday life, and how can you take it into the future? I mean, all of these skills you've learned, how can they help you?
Oh my goodness, the list just goes on and on. As you were asking that question, I had about 10 million things pop into my head. First of all, my public speaking skills are amazing. I mean, compared to what they were.
Right.
And that's something that I think everyone needs to have, you know, to become a very successful adult. So that's one major thing that I've learned. And then how to speak about something that I'm passionate about in an effective way and with conviction. I think that those two things are really something that has truly changed in me throughout this entire experience, and that's something that I'm looking forward to continuing to develop and take with me for the rest of my life.
Well, that's wonderful. And you know, that's what I think people, the misconception of what pageantry is. It really is a stage for young ladies to develop themselves and develop poise and strength and opinions, and really to take this self-motivation and this self-confidence into the next form and next phase of their life.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I was so glad you touched on, because I wanted the community to understand, yes, it is a lot about competition, but it's also huge about community service.
Yes.
That is a platform that every single young lady that participates in the Miss North Carolina system and all these local, Goldsboro is considered a local pageant, all these local pageants, and moving forward, it goes all the way up to the Miss America level.
It does.
And then people understand volunteerism from that point forward.
The Miss America organization is definitely one of the most amazing organizations I've ever been a part of, and I'm very honored and blessed to have become a part of this organization, because I've learned so many things, not only about myself, but about the community as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Beth, we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors towards Miss North Carolina. We wish you the best, that you will have an experience that you can always remember, that you will cherish, that you will take with you forever and ever, no matter what happens up there. But we also just wish that you will continue to grow as a person, and when you come back, if you come back still as Miss Goldsboro, we want you to understand that we still open our arms to you and welcome you back to our community, and want you to just jump right back in and be the very best Miss Goldsboro that you can be.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Well, thank you for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Beth Stovall, your 2013 Miss Goldsboro, and let's all stand behind her and wish her the best of luck at Miss North Carolina on June 22nd. It'll be on Time Warner Cable, and we'll all watch you there. Thanks so much, and this is what's happening in your community.
Our guest in the studio today, we're so happy to have some good friends of ours here with us. First of all, we want to welcome Nicholas Cole, jazz pianist and producer. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And County Commissioner John Bell, always great to have you in the studio with us. Now, you two guys know each other, right?
Yes, we know each other very well.
Okay.
That's my grandson.
Grandson?
Yes.
And you're a proud grandfather.
I am.
I know indeed you are. Now, and you're proud because this young man is quite the accomplished, not only pianist, but jazz pianist. You play all genres of music.
Right.
You play a little bit of everything, but you have done concerts, you have CDs available, you're touring, you do all kinds of stuff.
Right, right.
All right, we'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
You were born at a very early age.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when did you start playing piano?
I started playing when I was about 3 or 4.
About
my
3
first
or
keyboard.
4 years of age, you're playing piano?
Yes, sir.
Now, how did you know you could do that? I mean, I know what kids do. Kids, when they,
Right.
as youngsters, they see a toy piano, they see a set of drums, they want to go bang on the drums and hit the piano keys.
Well, that's what I was doing as well.
Right.
You know, a 3 or 4-year-old can't make much sense out of, you know, getting his hands to work on a keyboard and make sense as if somebody could do that is 20 or 23,
Right.
you know. So it just started out as banging, but with both hands. You
Right.
know? A lot of kids will start with maybe just one hand on a keyboard, you know.
Right.
But I had great hand placement, and he had talked to, I think, Mr. Jimmy Aycock.
Yes, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
And he really started out actually playing a song
Yeah.
that we could understand. And at 3 or 4, I can't remember, about 3 and a half.
Joy to the World.
And yeah,
That's
Okay.
my first song.
Is that right?
And,
You remember that?
I do. Yeah.
I rushed out and went and got him a keyboard immediately.
Yeah, it was a little later on that I learned to play that song. I was maybe about 6 when I learned to play that one, right?
Mhm.
And that was when I got my second keyboard.
Right.
And I would play that song every day until my mother got so sick of hearing it. But I think she was really glad that I could, you know, actually play at that point. You know, I could play a song.
So you're already showing signs of dexterity, finger dexterity,
Right.
and
dexterity, finger placement.
finger placement.
Yes, sir.
Now, John, what did you feel about this? How did you feel about this?
I also, you know, I'm a musician myself. You know, I play the bass. I don't now, but I used to.
You used to play bass.
And I recognized the fact that he had some potential. And he almost made me keyboard broke. I bought him about 3 or 4 keyboards before he really got to be good. And finally we went and got him this last keyboard, which is a very good professional keyboard, which he takes with him on local events. You know, he doesn't take it when he go off, like when he went to Dubai and stuff like that. But
and we'll get to that in just a moment. But
Okay.
as he was getting to be an accomplished musician at the old age of 10 or 12 years of age, what did Jimmy Aycock have to say about his talent and his potential?
Jimmy thought he was great. Matter of fact, Jimmy didn't want to disrupt his abilities, the things that he had learned. So he said, I don't want to take that away from him and start him from scratch. He said, we just going to let him go at his own pace, you know what I mean? And I just kind of fill in and help him, you know. But a lot of teachers would have taken him back to the basic, you know, notes and things like that. But Jimmy didn't do him that way. He just let him continue to progress.
One of the mentors I respect the most. He's one of my favorites, actually, yeah.
Jimmy Aycock is a great talent. He is
yes.
certainly a renowned musician and a great talent here in Wayne County. And a lot of people have the utmost respect for Jimmy Aycock, but they do for you as well.
Yeah.
And I think it was brilliant of him to allow Nicholas to progress at his own own rate, at his own speed.
Yes.
So, how do musicians see music different ways in their mind? How do you see music in your mind? Bless you.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
Excuse me.
How do you see music in your mind as far as the differences between the different types of music?
Well, I think that there's so much to embrace in every genre. You know, I don't embrace everything in every genre because, you know, there's always going to be, you know, a set of music over here that you might not like. You know, but I think there's always something to find in every genre that you will be able to respect. And everything is so different, but the one thing that they all have in common is it's an art. You know, and I think the way I embrace it is, you know, if music can touch so many people's lives, then do it for that reason and that reason only. That's the way I embrace it. When I sit down to write a song, I think about the many people that could possibly be touched by it. So that is my reason for doing it, and that's the way I embrace the music.
You have toured. How did you happen to end up in the nation of Dubai?
Oh, wow.
How did that happen?
Well, I signed to a record label last year around about...
What's that label?
Cutmore Records.
Cutmore.
Cutmore Records. I signed with them, a little record label out of the UK. And I signed with them last year around maybe June. Mm-hmm. And I released my CD, my first CD on that label in September. And they have a festival going on. They have a festival going on in Dubai every year. It's an annual festival that happens there. It's a jazz and rock fest.
Really?
In Dubai? In Dubai. Whoever would have thought, you know, of all places, you know, Dubai having a jazz and rock festival. But my record label CEO is one of the partners of the festival committee, so he's in charge of, you know, getting a lot of the jazz acts over there.
Right.
So
so you signed with this label, and they were responsible for you going to Dubai. Have they sent you anywhere else?
Well, no, not yet. They are planning the Dubai thing again, and you know, seeing who they want to take over there this time. So maybe, you know, they'll take me back.
What was the venue in Dubai? Were you at that big tall hotel over there, or?
Well, no, the Burj Khalifa.
Yes.
You know, we did go check that out.
Did you check that out?
Oh man, it's so huge. It's one of the most brilliant things ever known to man.
Yes,
I think.
It's another world wonder.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And it's just such a blessing that, you know, God would allow me to, you know, be able to see that at a very, very early age, because most people, you know, will probably never get a chance to witness something like that.
It's an amazing.
For me to be able to do it at 19, you know, it's really a blessing. And the venue that we had it at, though, it's actually in like a park, like an open field, and it fits so many people out there. The stage that we were on, you know, there's people walking by and people that are sitting out. I would say they had a few thousand people sitting out just listening, watching, you know, by seat, and then others standing all around. And the main stage, you know, there were about 23,000 in attendance.
My goodness.
To that, and so, you know, it was just a blessing to be able to play my music in front of that many people, you know.
So that's Dubai, and then you're back here, and where are you performing? You have performed a couple of times, in fact, at the Paramount.
Right, yeah, a couple of times at
the Paramount.
Just this past Sunday.
This past Sunday night.
Oh, really? Okay,
this past Sunday.
I missed that one.
Duke University about 3 weeks ago?
No, that was actually, yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago, Duke University. And what are your plans? What's coming up for you?
Well, I'm off to LA next month to do a big jazz festival out there called the Big Bear Jazz Festival.
The Big Bear.
And that is pretty big. I'm very excited about doing it. It started with a guy named Art Good, who's over another festival in California called the Catalina Jazz Festival. Oh, sure. And I'll be doing, I did that one last year in October, and I'll be going back this October to do it as well. So I always enjoy doing the gigs out in California.
Who inspires Nicholas Cole? How do you follow a certain, I know you have your own style, and I love your style, but who started you off in a particular direction? Is there anyone in particular that you follow or that you like very much?
Well, jazz-wise, I listen to a lot of different sax players, Richard Elliott, little David Sanborn, yeah, some Dave Koz, some Steve Cole, Huge Groove, and other keyboardists as well, Brian Simpson, Brian Culbertson, George Duke, Ramsey Lewis, Herbie Hancock, older jazz artists such as Bill Evans, Thelonious Monk, Oscar Peterson. So I have a wide array of guys that really inspire me to do what I'm doing now. And you can hear a little bit of everybody in the style. You know, I don't just put one style on the record. You know, it's mostly jazz, but, you know, comprised of different jazz styles, you know, within it, because, you know, jazz has subgenres.
Oh, yeah.
Like fusion and, you know.
Well, when I listen to Nicholas Cole play, I hear Nicholas Cole.
Well,
I don't hear these other people, man.
Thank you.
You're so talented. Now I think you have 2 CDs out already?
I do.
And are there plans for more?
Oh, of course.
But
Oh
I'm
yeah,
glad
many,
to
many
hear
more.
that. Yeah. Well, what are your goals? What do you want to do and accomplish?
Well, you know, I just want to keep touching more people, as many people as I can touch. I would love to become a very accomplished producer, not only in jazz, but you know, other genres as well. You know, because I love everything. I love country music. I'm a big country music fan, so I would love to explore that and start, you know, spreading my wings in that as well.
Now, when you say country music, the first person that comes to mind when you say country and piano is Floyd Kramer.
Floyd Kramer, yeah, of course.
You know, with that little hook that he had.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that everybody recognizes Floyd Kramer's
of course.
style.
Yeah, I'm a big country fan, and even of a lot of the older country artists that really, to me, were guys who really started it and you know caused it to be what it is today.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
June Carter.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I'm a big country fan. I love country music.
I love the idea that you're so open to all the other styles of music
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
genres, because that's how you expand
That's right.
in your own
That's
style.
right.
Yeah.
I've always been a believer
Still
in that.
played it. Still played for the church.
And still playing
Oh
for
yeah.
the church.
Still always play for the church.
Yeah.
He was the minister of music at my church at 10.
John, how is this young man so, at the age of 19, grounded? I mean, he is...
Probably got it from me.
Yeah. Okay.
He taught it to me. I'll give him the credit for that.
Okay. All right. But at the age of 19, did you see this? I know you saw this talent way in advance
Yes.
before others were seeing it, and his parents were seeing it. And what did you hope he would be able to do, and how far he'd be able to go?
Well, at the time, when he first started playing, about the only thing that I thought about was that he was going to become a good church musician. You know what I mean? And that was my focus, you know, keeping him in the church and keeping him playing for the church, you know what I mean? And then we started to notice that, you know, he had some other talent, you know what I mean? And he started, and you know, he liked to play with all this electronic stuff, you know, and do little recording. He did a lot of little mini recordings before he ever did his CD.
On tape.
And he put it on tape, and we listened to it, and it sounded pretty good, you know. And so I think most of his abilities came through himself, you know what I mean? It's just not that we said you ought to do this and you ought to do that. He just was able to pick up on it and do it, you know.
And you pushed yourself.
Yes, sir.
You push yourself to try new things.
Right.
What about when you're writing music? Do you have inspiration for when you're writing music?
Oh, of course. I can be inspired by color patterns. So, you know, the simple things like it's the simple things, and I'm glad it's like that for me because I don't have to be in a certain place to write. You know, I don't have to be in my studio to write, or to be even in a musical setting. Period. You know, I could be riding through a big city and get inspired by the city lights. You know. It's a number of things, you know, trees, palm trees, you know. I can get inspired to write something with a beachy type, you know, flavor. You know,
I understand. I do understand. Were you good at math?
I was pretty good in math. I didn't like it.
Yeah, well,
at all.
but you were good, but you understood it.
Yeah, I was pretty good.
I just had a feeling you might have been.
Yeah, well, you know, music and math kind of coincide in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in a lot of
So,
ways.
you know, you have to have somewhat of a, you know, pretty good understanding of it to, you know, kind of maneuver your way, especially when you get into mixing and stuff and knowing what frequencies to dip out without me trying to get too, you know, technical.
Yeah, don't get too technical.
I don't want to lose anything.
I'm lost already.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Raymond Christian Academy. It's a small Christian private school, and glad I came up that way either. You know, a lot of people always ask me, do you regret not growing up in a public school environment? No, I don't at all, you know, because, you know, God is not in the public schools, you know, and God is a part of my private life, and, you know, so I wanted to be a part of my public life, and if I couldn't live that every day publicly from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, then, you know, I'd rather stay in my Christian environment, so I'm glad I grew up that way.
Our guest today has been the amazing Nicholas Cole and the proud grandfather, County Commissioner John Bell. Nicholas, best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
I see great things for you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm proud to have you as my friend as
Yes,
well.
sir. Yes, sir.
John, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
And we're back.
We are back on WGTV today, Wayne Goldsboro Television.
That's exactly right.
What does that mean?
That means it's a partnership from the city of Goldsboro, between the city of Goldsboro and the county of Wayne.
Okay.
That's right. And the county are the operators of this show. And we work together and partner together to continue to collaborate and inform our community on what's happening. That's what this is all about. Keeping you informed on local events and happenings.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
there
what
you
it
go.
is.
There you go. Da 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 da. There you go.
Well, Wayne, coming up in this month is a big event, Father's Day.
Oh, yeah,
for all you
Father's
fathers
Day.
and grandfathers out there.
Hey, that's right.
That's right. It's actually June 16th.
That's on a Sunday this year.
That's on a Sunday
Okay.
every year. And we're going to offer them something a little bit different here on the show.
What are we doing?
We're going to offer, if you're interested in having your father told a special message from you, we're going to do that here on WGTV.
Oh, now that's nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yes, if your father watches WGTV, or if you want him to watch WGTV, you can email us a message from you to your dad. Where can they email it, Wayne?
Well, if you're sending us an email, you send it to WGTV@waynegov.com. WGTV@waynegov.com. WAYNEGOV.com.
There you
There you go.
Now, we have a deadline. Today is Monday, and the deadline is next Monday, June 10th.
All right, so June 10th. So we need it a week from today.
That's right. Email your message in from your dad, what you'd like to say and how you'd like to wish him a very special day. You can say anything you would like that tells your dad how important he is and how much he means to you. Email it to WGTV, and we will talk about it right here on the show. That's 1 week.
That's right. You have now until next Monday. That's the cutoff. That's the deadline. So you can mail it anytime between now and then.
That's right. So it's a Father's Day special. We will air this actually the Friday before Father's Day.
That's right. WGTV@waynegov.com. You send it in.
That's right. We want to hear from you. How special is your dad? That's wonderful.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Can't wait to see what people are emailing in about their dads. That's going to be such a great day and great way to share information with people. That what a surprise it may be for some dads that they're just watching the show and all of a sudden they hear a special message from their son or daughter or grandchild. How neat would that be?
That would be very neat to say, hey, Joe Palooka, happy Father's Day.
You're the best granddad in the world.
Yeah.
From all your little grandchildren.
Yes. From Hammaker, from Schlemmer, from whatever. All
That's
right.
right. It could be really, really special for somebody.
Could be. Anyway, that's WGTV@waynegov.com. And a week from today is the cutoff date.
That's right.
After that, sorry.
Just email it in.
That's right. Okay, hurricane season, we are there. We have advice for you. You must be prepared for hurricane season. One way you can prepare and to make sure your family is safe during hurricane season is to have an escape plan. Should we have a hurricane bearing down on this part of the world, you will want to make sure you have a plan, whether your family's together or not, to get out of your house and go somewhere else, unless you live in a house that you feel is safe. Now, I don't know, I've seen a lot of destruction, a lot of damage here in Wayne County from hurricanes and from tornadoes, which often accompany hurricanes.
Yes.
But it's just a good idea to be as safe as you possibly can to get your family out. One way to do that is to have an escape plan. A plan to meet at a certain location. If you're out and about and you're not home, have a plan to meet at a certain location at a certain time or by a certain time, and then from that point go somewhere else. Or to have someone who lives outside the Wayne County area have their phone number, Aunt Martha, who lives in Keokuk, perhaps, or Uncle Joe, who lives in Saskatchewan. Have those numbers with you so that you can call if you are separated and you say, okay, this is Bob and I'm safe, and if everybody else calls, let them know that I'm safe and I'm over here at on Elm Street or wherever, okay?
Right.
And then everybody calls Uncle Bob, or Uncle Joe rather, and then lets them know. That's just one idea that you can have to make sure that everybody is safe and you're not worried about your family during times of hurricanes, which can really be a bit scary.
Devastating. And you know, Wayne, one of the things that we think about is there's so many different plans that we need, not just for hurricanes, but we need them in case of a fire. We need them in case of any kind of emergency.
Good point.
And just sitting down and talking with your family and really laying out what works best for your family, because everybody's family is different. And you need to really think about it and talk with your family and understand what's going to happen, and maybe even post it somewhere.
That's a really good point. Post it in the house, on the refrigerator or somewhere like that. Very good.
Talk about it over dinner.
Yeah.
Spend some time preparing for all of these different situations.
And it's something that some people are a bit uncomfortable with. You don't want to talk about what if something happens, but you really need to talk about it just in case it does happen.
Well, it'll help your family feel more secure and maybe not quite as frightened if you do have a plan.
Because if something does happen, it can be very frightening. And if you don't have a plan, then you're at a loss. You don't know what to do. You don't know if your family's safe. So have a plan. Devise a plan to get out of the house in case of an emergency, or make sure that perhaps an escape plan to leave the area in case of emergency.
That's right.
It's a good idea.
Well, Wayne, speaking of emergencies, I recently watched a movie. It's called The Impossible. And I don't know if you've seen it or not, but that is the movie about the tsunami that happened not long ago in Thailand.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And speaking of, unbelievable situations, that's a family story of what happened. They were Americans, and they were over in Thailand when all of this took place. And it's their story, and I'm not going to tell you the ending, but it is from their perspective. And I'm telling you, it was quite touching, quite interesting, quite entertaining to learn their perspective on what happened during that huge, devastating situation.
That was a result of an earthquake, as I recall, and it was absolutely a wall of water that came ashore there. So yeah, several walls of water, and thousands of people died and perished in that tragedy. And
it's called The Impossible. And it really is a very informative movie. Just saw it recently, and it had been recommended by several people. So for me, it was more just to find out their perspective and sort of how they work together to find one another through all that.
It's amazing, just amazing.
Weather can be quite scary sometimes for many of us.
Here in the U.S., we have more tornadoes than anywhere else in the world.
Yes.
For some reason. And every single state in the Union has been hit with a tornado. Even Alaska, there's been tornadoes there.
Really? Every state?
Every state has had a tornado at one time. Some, of course, more often than others, particularly up the tornado, like Oklahoma.
Yes, continually.
In that area. But our big thing here in the east is, given our geographic location out in the Atlantic, we're just positioned just right for hurricane, which often will have a tornado or two spawn from a hurricane. So weather's very much a part of our lives. So if the more you know about it, the less frightening it is. I promise you. The more you know about it, and for your kids, and that's something. That's right. You do have to think about that, about what how your kids are affected by the weather and what's scary to them.
You're right.
Yeah. So do a little research. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost anything, and the internet is so full of information about weather.
You're right. I think I mentioned to you recently on the city's website we have a hurricane help button.
Yes, you do.
And it has a lot of helpful information and tips and preparation and that type thing, and that's goldsboronc.gov right there on the homepage on the left. And it's, basic information that we've talked about a lot on the show, but it's easy for you to print out some of the information and share it with your children or whomever.
And the Red Cross at redcross.org also has a list of an emergency kit that you could put together and keep in your closet or keep at home, keep in your car for just exactly what we're talking about here. And when a hurricane hits this area many times, and more than likely we'll be without power for a few days sometimes.
That's right.
So it's good to have an emergency kit handy, and if you want to know what's in there, you go to redcross.org, and they will list things that you have to have in an emergency kit to get you through bad times like that.
Yes, I won't ever forget during Fran and some of those that happened all right there back to back.
Yeah.
How many days we were without power and the struggles and all that you deal with, and it really makes you appreciate the finer things in life and makes you appreciate the things that we honestly on a day-to-day basis take for granted.
That's right. And if you recall, Fran was one of several hurricanes. There were several right in a row there, and I think it was Dennis that came first of all and just kind of stood out there off the coast for a while and just kind of spun around, then took off to the east, and then turned around and came back and slammed us.
And then Floyd was along in there somewhere
99.
too. Yeah.
Floyd was back in 99, and that was the storm of the century for us. Yeah, I guess 500-year flood for us here.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
So it's possible. So being prepared is one of the better ways that you can prepare your family and make your family feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah. So anyway, get your emergency kit together.
That's right.
All right, our trivia question for today.
Yes.
The question was, a world famous living author once and occasionally would use the name Richard Bachman, Bachman, to write his books and his stories. His name was Stephen King.
Stephen King.
Stephen King used the name Richard
Why
Bachman.
did he go with that name? Why did he use it as
for any reason that authors would sometimes use a different name. Maybe he was embarrassed. Maybe maybe he had an uncle that I don't know
Was
that
in the book and he
was
didn't
in the
wanna
book.
know.
Yeah, I don't know. He just used it for whatever reason. A lot of times they use nom de plumes for various reasons. But do you know he was afraid of the dark?
I have heard that, which
He
I
is
think
afraid.
is absolutely hilarious.
He is. He's afraid of the dark.
Considering the fact that he, writes very scary movies.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
Because
he
maybe
does.
being afraid of the dark
It's why he wrote these movies.
helps write these
Maybe that's
things.
his therapy, Wayne.
It could be.
How about that?
Yes. So let's do this again tomorrow. We'll
Yes,
figure out what
let's
we're going to
do.
talk
Yes,
about
let's
tomorrow.
do.
Who's on tomorrow's program?
Oh, we'll see. We have some information about solid waste. We have,
Oh.
yes, we have the Paramount Theater, and we have a downtown living show.
All right, well, there you go. Well, join us again tomorrow. We'll be right here at this spot on WGTV Today, Channel 10 on your Time Warner cable, and Channel 99 on your AT&T Uverse. I left out a T, didn't I? Uverse. Anyway, join us here at that time tomorrow. And until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening here in your community.